Excellent Force issue 99 is getting a review treatment today. And it reminds us that Bill son of a bitch, he can be added to my overrated hacks feature that is already taking the world by storm. Even though I proper do hate Bill son of a bitch, I think he is like one of the worst artists to ever exist. I'm not afraid to put my hands up and say that this cover here, this is not too bad. This is honestly the only time I have ever seen a Bill son of a bitch piece and not immediately wanted to look away. It's not great. I'd much prefer to see any other artist do this cover, but if this was like the worst a comic book cover ever looked, this would be fine. This issue, it comes from a very forgotten run on Excellent Force, and part of the reason I think it is very forgotten is that it took Excellent Force and it seemed to want to transform them back into being the new Muties. Cables was dropped from the book, Shatterman and Spinker, they were dropped as well. Dominoes, she was removed, but they noticed their mistake and brought her back about 10 issues later. But I think the biggest red flag for me is bringing in Mary Sue Moonchild. Not only do I hate the character, but I feel she is very indicative of the book trying to regress back into being a New Muties book. But I do have a lot of patience for this writer, Roger Moore. He did some good stuff in the late 90s, and the artist here is great. You might recognise it. This is Sam Cheung, who you see do a lot of big Marvel events nowadays, or their covers at least. And this is a book that I didn't want to really let my Christopher Clairvoyant hatred overwhelm, but a lot of what we have here is spinning out of hard Christopher Clairvoyant New Muties rubbish, and there is one point that I definitely want to make, because I will never be covering any Christopher Clairvoyant New Muties comics with the Demon Bear character in them. But we have got our team here, Excellent Force, they're all drawn really well. Up top we have got Cannonballs, my favourite one. This writer brought him back onto the team. He briefly graduated to the main Excellent Men, but then this writer brought him back to Excellent Force, which I like. But again, it was maybe just to nudge it along the path of morphing back into New Muties. I will say he waited 6 issues into his run before bringing Cannonballs back, but with his first issue, put Mary Sue Moonchild up front on the cover and made her the team leader. We have also got Thunderpath, we have got a young Terry Crews. He was introduced in this run, although his first appearance was technically in Extra Factors during Age of Armageddon. We have got Time Bomb, Dominoes, and up front Mary Sue Moonchild, because, well, this is a comic acknowledging the work of Christopher Clairvoyant and Bill son of a bitch. But as I was reading that out, I was so bored that I realised that Terry Crews, he was actually created by this writer. The baddie for this issue is an hard New Muties baddie called Demon Bear. That's it there. It's some boring, mystical, Native American, nightmare death monster. And I will stop talking about Christopher Clairvoyant after I raise this point. Demon Bear isn't really a New Muties baddie. It's just a baddie for Mary Sue Moonchild. Demon Bear is like her archenemy and her nemesis, and the rest of the team, they are irrelevant when it comes to Demon Bear stories. Now, it's not unusual for a member of a team to have a baddie who is specific to them. But now, think with your head box. Name me one baddie from the Christopher Clairvoyant New Muties books, one baddie like Demon Bear, who is only Cannonballs' baddie. Name us one that is Cyborg's baddie. They didn't have any because, as I have always been saying, those books, they are always just Christopher Clairvoyant writing his boring, rubbish, perfect female characters. And I have got no love whatsoever for Mary Sue Moonchild or Demon Bear. So this story is a tremendously hard sell for us. But I do think that this is probably the best that anyone could do with such rotten ingredients. We get a little bit of backstory here on those odd issues. And you'll notice... Actually, no, I won't. I won't point out that the backstory, not featuring any of the other New Mutants characters, proves my claim. Instead, let's focus on what Roger Moore does well and better than those original stories. Here we have got Cannonballs, and he is fighting Demon Bear. A single page here just showing us a character besides the obvious spotlight focus, and it already makes this feel like a proper teen book. In true Mary Sue fashion though, Mary Sue Moonchild, she has got some random new powers, and we have an interlude over here with Bangle. She was half written out of the book as well, but they tried to keep up with her even though she had been written out. She had her throat cut, and that made her obviously unable to use her powers. And actually, coming to think of it, this is the last story in this run. Issue 100, the next issue, that is this creative team's final issue. Sadly, it doesn't gan out with a bang. It gans out with Demon Bear. And then the next run on the book killed it so badly that it was okay for Spike Milligan to come along and debut a totally unrelated team and completely change the mood of the whole book going forward. And the truth is, I just didn't care enough about Mary Sue Moonchild to ever make this feel like a brilliant story. It's hard to care for her, even with the best attempts of this writer. This is a character that I can never see myself feeling invested in or ever being concerned for because of her history of random bullshit powers and undeserved favouritism. Oh, we have got a subplot here with Eclipse, and I didn't like Eclipse either, but this was actually the only story with the character I felt was interesting. Kate Beckinsale from the Bondage Club, she got Eclipse to join the Bondage Club, and sadly, not all that much was ever done with that. Mike Lucifer, he touched on it about a decade later, but he didn't really have much control over Eclipse's character, so didn't really get to see that much. I think the most we ever got with Eclipse and the Bondage Club after this was, sadly, Christopher Clairvoyant comeback stories. I think Demon Bear might be the epitome of a comic book idea that strives to never appeal to us. We have nearly all of my hatreds in one idea here. We have got Native American mysticism, mumbo jumbo. We have got bullshit symbolic dives into character subconsciousness, stream of thoughts and dreams and bollocks like that. We have got a pet character like Mary Sue Moonchild. We have got Christopher Clairvoyant and Bill Son of a Bitch, who were big no-nos for us. Did they ever do a story where the coming of Demon Bear was predicted by a tarot card showing death? That seems like something they definitely would have done, in which case, I think I can say with absolute authority, Demon Bear is the worst comic book character ever created. Even worse than Cutlass and Typhoon. There is Mary Sue Moonchild's Flying Horsey. And now I need to start setting up this ending that we're getting to, which I almost feel like I didn't have to say anything. You will just laugh at how unfortunate reading this story is for us. And even though I bigged up Roger Moore, he missed an obvious chance to use Demon Bear to also spotlight Thunderpath, who is also Native American. They give him this tiny little bit here where he fights Demon Bear, and then on the next page he gets to save his pretty girlfriend from being stamped on. But there's definitely a lot more you can do with his background and make it the case that Demon Bear has a connection to someone else on the team, anyone else on the team, anyone who isn't Mary Sue Moonchild. The D eventually did out with Thunderpath in the Excellent Force revamp, where they wear matching silver and black costumes. And Mary Sue Moonchild, she is able to defeat Demon Bear with her new powers. They're not even linked to her hard powers. They're not like an evolution or an extension of her original power set. They are just completely different and the most vague Mary Sue powers possible. And our ending, I'm not going to offer an opinion, I'm just going to stay silent and you can fill in the blanks. Our ending is that there is now 4 Mary Sue Moonchilds, each embodying a different period of her life. The art is nice at least. I already said what my conclusion will be. This is about as good as a Mary Sue Moonchild story with Demon Bear can be. I should hate it a lot more, but they really did try their best to make it not a pile of shit. And this is the best you can make with these components. I like this run, even though I didn't like Mary Sue Moonchild, and I think putting her on Excellent Force was an enormous mistake that blurred the lines between Excellent Force and New Muties far too much. But it is an enjoyable run. This comic is getting 7 thumbs up from Native Chief Sitting Nimrod, son.